Okay, so I love this quote. It's from James Clear. I do quite often take quotes from his book, which is called Atomic Habits. And if you haven't read it, it's a great one actually. Not only just for this 90-day program, but in general, it's got some really excellent tips for how to start habits and how to maintain habits. And so he says here, small habits, when repeated consistently, lead to remarkable results. And that's exactly what we're doing in this program, because we're doing this walking every single day, and you don't always see the difference it's making. You might feel it after one walk, but actually, as well as that feeling, that improvement you might feel after one walk, there's also all sorts of things going on in the background that you might not realize until maybe week 4 or week 5, when you're suddenly like, oh, hang on a minute, I haven't been in a bad mood for 2 weeks now, or I feel much calmer now, or my trousers feel better now, or whatever it may be. But it's so important to keep going with those small habits, even when we actually don't see the results. So it's the small habits that create our current reality. So basically, wherever we're at now, all the good things, all the mediocre things, all the bad things are pretty much the result of what we're doing every day. And it's a little bit trying to turn a massive tanker. We're just replacing some of the less um, helpful habits for this one very, very helpful habit of with this one helpful habit of walking. So it's just creating this new reality with this new habit. And those small changes, as I was saying, those small changes compound over time. And there's something else that's happening, a bit as like Hilary was saying, even though she felt tired, she still went out for a walk. And what's happening there is that small action that seems like maybe it's almost insignificant, but it's not, because in that small decision that Hilary made, she is voting for the person that she wants to become. And she knows the person that she wants to become. And she's shared it on our private WhatsApp group. And she's made that commitment to the person that she wants to be in 90 days. So I really want to celebrate you, Hilary, for taking that small action and also noticing it as well, noticing that action, because every time you do that, you're changing your identity. You're becoming the person who is the woman that you want to be in 90 days' time. So that is so, so important. But one of the things I want to look at today is what actually stops us. Because, and again, Hilary has already said one of the things that may always stop us, which is we just feel tired or we just don't feel like it. So I want us to think about what stops you. And maybe it's not just in the walking every day, maybe it's just generally when you say you want to do something and you make a commitment to something, but then you don't actually do it or you don't follow through. What is it for you that's stopping you? So I want us to take just a couple of minutes. If you've got a pen and paper, just start writing down a few things. Just brainstorm it. What is it that stops you? I'm going to be sorry. That was my teacup. I'm going to be thinking of a few things too. So let's all do that now. Let's just have a think. What is it that's stopping us either from walking every day or from any other habits? Maybe it's healthy eating. That's a sort of related habit. So what is it that stops us from following through on our commitments? How you all doing? Has everyone got at least three?
Yeah,
Yeah. Does anyone want to share what it is that stops them? You don't have to, but
I will.
great, thanks.
Um, Busy days, like other commitments, like meeting friends, etc. So we have a group of friends who can only meet on certain days at certain times, and I can't keep saying I can't make it that day because I'm going for a walk or because I'm doing a webinar. So that's one thing that stops me. My dog, because she can't be left at home by herself. And so it's okay if my husband's home, I can go out. But if he's not, I can't leave her. So I can't go until he gets here. Um, my husband himself saying, "Oh, you're not going out again, are you?" Or, "How long are you on that Zoom call for?"
It's only
So
an
those,
hour a week.
it's exactly when he gets in.
Yeah. Okay, those are all great. So yeah, the busy one, I'm sure all of us can relate to that. And the dog, it's kind of family commitments, both of the other ones,
Yeah.
isn't it? Family commitments, and then also your commitments to your friends, which is, fair enough. Yeah. Anyone else want to share any reasons why they or obstacles that might get in the way of walking every day?
I can say, yeah, laziness, just feeling lazy, just feeling like you can't be bothered, which is not, yeah, which can come up, but
Mm,
that's pushing through that is good.
yeah.
And being unconfident, you can do it as well, not necessarily with this, but just everything, all the commitments, just not feeling confident enough that you're good enough, kind of thing, and also not feeling good enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
those sort of things too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I came up with.
Yeah. Yeah. And anyone else? Let me share mine. I've got something a little bit like yours, Hilary. That your last one. If I don't believe it will work, so I might try something and then I'll think, oh, it's not working, and then I'll just be, oh, what's the point? So it's a little bit like that. Um, I'll also I'll find something new. So I'll do something for a little bit, then I think, oh, I want to do something new now. I want to do something different. So it's a little bit like boredom or just not following through because something else looks better. The thrill of something new looks better, like the bright, shiny penny syndrome. And the other thing I wrote down is that I put my words were it goes out of existence. Like I just forget about it. And then, everyday life just takes over, just the everything that you have to do, a bit like you were saying, Linda, the day gets busy and I just forget about it. Um, so let's look at some common obstacles. So I don't have enough time, that you were expressing that Linda, and I think we always, a lot of us will have that same feeling, like, how am I going to fit this in? I've got a million things to do, and I've got commitments to my family, I've got commitments to my dog, I've got commitments to my husband and my friends, I've got work, and a million things, a holiday, or a lot of things can come up. Pain or physical discomfort, a bit like you were sharing earlier, Hilary. So you might feel like, I don't know, your back aches or your knees ache. Um, you don't have a plan. So it's like, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what to do. Yeah, so it's all a bit vague. Bad weather. I mean, today, when I went out for a walk, it was incredibly humid. And so I walked quite slowly. And then I did actually do a bit of interval walking, which I'll explain at the end of the session for those of you who weren't here last week, which actually made me feel better for some reason. Low energy. That's what you were talking about, Hilary, just low energy, which is, you were talking about laziness. I think I think that's an interesting one because I think something often lies underneath laziness. Um, but we could call that a lack of motivation, could be that. Other people's needs come first. I think that's what you were talking about, Linda. Really, you're putting other people's needs first, which we do, and that's nothing wrong with that. Feeling unsafe or self-conscious. I don't know if that's what you were meaning, Hilary, when you were saying you didn't feel confident. Does that come under the same thing?
No, I think it was to do with the next thing. When you feel unconfident that you can do it, not feeling like you're good enough to be able to.
Oh yeah, not feeling that. Does that kind of mix up with it's not going to work, like I'm not doing it right, it's not going to work for me? Is that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think they kind of go together, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then disrupted routines. That can definitely. I know Linda's going on holiday. I'm currently staying at my daughter's, looking after her cat. So all those, and then I'm going on a yoga retreat. So those sorts of things can disrupt it as well. So these are just some of the obstacles, but basically we all have obstacles. And the difficulty is, what do we do when those obstacles come up? Because we could let those obstacles stop us, or we could, if we're aware that those obstacles are there, we can have some things in place so that when they crop up, they actually don't stop us from, in this case, our daily walk. And the sense of achievement and empowerment that we can get by doing something as simple as walking every day, but actually being able to deal with the obstacles that stand in our way is incredible. And that can actually ripple out to your whole life. When you start to have that attitude of, let me look at my day, let me see what the obstacles might be, and let me find the thing that is going to get me over that obstacle, and let me actually get over that obstacle. Because it's likely that whatever is stopping us walking is exactly the same thing as is stopping us in every area of our life. We've probably got it's the same stories that are running us. So if we can overcome them in this context, then it empowers us for the rest of our life as well. So I'm going to lean on James Clear again, and the book again is Atomic Habits. If you feel like it's quite an easy book to read. It doesn't take a long time to read, but it is really insightful. And he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so that's what we're really talking about today, is how can we put in place a system so that those obstacles that stop us don't get in the way, that we actually overcome them. And I've called it the success system. So we're going to look at each of those different letters in turn. And the first one is S, which is to scheduling. Now, when I first started to walk every day, I was religious about this because walking wasn't a natural habit for me at that time. And I was very, very busy running my business, Boogie Mites. And my diary was, I had about 1 million color codes for everything. And, it was sort of like, from 7 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, I had something in there. So I had to schedule in my walk. And once something was in my diary, that was it. I did it. So this is a really powerful thing to do. It can feel, depending on your personality, it can feel quite onerous to schedule a walk. I know I quite often kind of didn't want to schedule it because it just seemed like, no, walking is a nice thing to do. I don't want to make it into a chore. But actually, it's a great way of making sure that your busy life doesn't get in the way. So I've got a little task for us to do. What I'd like you to do is take a look at your diary. Does everyone have a diary? Do you have a diary on your phone or like a paper diary? Anyone not use a diary?
on my phone.
On your phone, yeah. Mine is also on my phone. So what I'd like us to do is just for the next 3 days, so for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'd like you to look at your diary and I'd like you to schedule one walk, which isn't your dog walk, Linda, but one walk. So let's do that now. It shouldn't take too long. Maybe take us a couple of minutes just to have a look at. Sometimes we don't really look at our diaries until it's the day is upon us, and that can be too late. So I want us to get into the habit of looking forward. What's happening tomorrow, the next day, and where am I going to walk in that schedule? So let's have a look now. And if you've got your phone diary, then actually write it in. Okay. Did you manage that? We done?
Almost.
I actually quite enjoy doing that because, for example, tomorrow I know I've got a call with you, Mary, and then I've got another call about a quarter of an hour after that. So now I know I'm going to have two calls, then I'm going to have a walk. So that's actually something for me to kind of really look forward to, being able to move after having kind of those conversations. So it's quite nice to, especially if you have, or maybe like me, if you work from a desk and you're going to have 3 or 4 hours at your desk, then you schedule your walk and you're like, great, I know I'm going to be sitting down for 3 hours, but I've got my walk scheduled. So I know I'm going to have a lovely walk. I'll be able to de-stress. I'll be able to move my body. And so it can bring a little, I like to think of it as a micro holiday, kind of bring a little micro holiday into your day, something to look forward to, something simple to look forward to. So are we all booked in for the next 3 days?
Yeah. Can I just say something?
Yes.
I can't do that already because on Friday I've got to go to work. And I start work at 10:30, and I thought I'd go for an exercise class in the morning at 8:15 to 9:15. Then it would give me from 9:15 to 10:30 to go for a walk before I start the work. So I've kind of scheduled that in already, which
Okay.
is yeah. So
Yeah.
that's work. I just thought I didn't actually diarise it, but I didn't when I looked at my diary on Friday. Oh yeah, I plan to do that already.
Yeah,
But yeah, but writing it down, like you say, it's good to pinpoint it like that.
absolutely. And for
Yeah.
anyone who is watching this on the replay, I hope you've done that exercise too. And I think what's really valuable about what you've just said, Hilary, is that it would really be easy to get up and do a bit of washing or hang around a bit, especially because you're going on to work. But the fact that you've got that scheduled in now, going to the gym and going for a walk, it's a really productive way to start the day and a really healthy way to start the day.
Yeah, it kind of happened. I did it last week as well, but it kind of happened by accident last week because I left the house and I'm just like, hold on a sec. I think I was booked in for 9:15 to 10:15 for my class, which wouldn't have given me enough time. But I rescheduled it on literally on the way, and I cancelled that one. I went to the earlier class so I could
Brilliant.
fit it in. I'm like, hold on a sec. Which class am I booked into? So that just kind of worked out. And this week it's going to happen again. So I just thought, yeah, just do that again.
That's so good. I mean, because basically, I think that what that illustrates is that the fact your commitment to walking every day is is very, very current for you, and you're actually working out, okay, what do I need to change so that I can still go to the gym, I can still have my walk, and I can get to work. I mean, everything's figure outable, right? So
Yeah.
that's absolutely
Is that a
brilliant.
word? Figure outable?
Yeah,
It's your word.
I'd say it is.
Cool.
Okay, so that's the scheduling. So that's a really, really important foundation for everything that we do, especially when you're at the beginning of your journey and really kind of starting this daily habit. So the next thing is uncomplicate. And what I mean by that is keep the habits small. So if you've got a really tricky day, or you're not feeling well, or something comes up unexpectedly, see if you can, rather than think, oh, there's absolutely no way I can walk today, forget it, can't do it. Rather than saying that, see if you can just say, you know what, I can't do a 20-minute walk or a 30-minute walk or a 40-minute walk, but let me just do a 10-minute walk just to keep the habit going. So that's what I mean by uncomplicate it. You know, something is better than nothing. And it's so important just to keep that habit going, because you're training your mind. So every time you don't do it, you're training your mind the wrong way. You're training your mind to forget about the habit. So even if you just do a 10-minute walk around the block or up and down the street, it's okay, because you've given yourself your mind the message, yes, I've gone for my daily walk. So uncomplicate it. On those busy days when something happens you're not expecting or whatever, uncomplicate it, just to make it short, make it sweet, make it simple, but keep the habit consistent. So the first C is for Q. So I think we've talked about this before, about the idea of habit stacking, about adding your walk into the habits you already have in your day. So I very much do it around, waking up, after lunch, after dinner, roughly speaking. So I kind of habit stack it to those 3 points in my day, which also for me, because I work at my desk, it also works well with my work schedule as well. So does anyone already do this? Are there sort of points in the day when you will tack on your walk?
Yes, I try and do it. I go to the gym most mornings, but I don't go on a Tuesday or a Thursday because my husband's not here and I can't leave the dog. But all the rest of the week, I go first thing in the morning, usually about 6 o'clock. So when I get back, I go straight for a walk.
Fantastic. Perfect. That's such a perfect example of habit stacking. And it's great because those two habits are now glued together, aren't they? Which is great. It will help you keep both habits, because the habit is the gym and the walk. So I think the one we also talked about last week with respect to the waste protocol was having an after dinner walk, because we were talking about the benefits it has for our nervous system and our digestive system, helping sleep and avoiding bloating. But also it's kind of a nice thing. Okay, I've had dinner. Let me just do a 15-20-minute walk before whatever you do next, settle down to watch a bit of telly or whatever it is. So that's another
I've been doing
example.
that.
Excuse me?
As well.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you do
I've
that
been
as
doing
well.
that as
Yeah.
well.
So I think those habit stacking is it just means that you're not kind of creating a brand new schedule, you're just tacking it on to your existing schedule, and that gives it a better chance of sticking. So remember our cues. So E is for enjoy. I definitely have had days when I've just thought, oh, do you know what? I actually don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to go around the park again. I'm just feeling a bit like there. Don't want to do it. So on those days, for me, what I do is I know there's certain podcasts I love, or I usually have an Audible book on the go, which is what I did yesterday, actually. I've got an Audible book that I'm really, really enjoying. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to walk around the park a couple of times and I'm going to listen to my Audible book. So it was like really, 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 really nice. So that's one example. If you like listening to podcasts or like listening to music or, books, that's one thing to do. I mean, I wouldn't say do it every single walk, because obviously when you're listening to something on your headphones, you can't then listen to the sounds of nature. However, on those days when you just need a little bit of entertainment, it can be a great solution. Or you can walk with somebody else. That's a great thing to do to it's a great one for motivation as well. But if you're sort of feeling, sometimes in the week you just want a little bit more fun or conversation, or you just need to add something to the walk, see if you can invite someone to one of your walks. I mean, we had a great walk last week, didn't we, Linda and Hilary? And it was just so nice just to connect and walk around Norwood Lakes, and it just made it a different experience. So if you know that boredom might be one of your obstacles, then see if you can schedule in maybe once a week, or a time when you can walk with somebody else. I still think you should invite your husband, Linda. Or I mean, as you were saying, Hilary, you were saying you went for a walk and then you sat down, you just sat and you sat in nature. That can be a lovely thing. That can be a destination. Let me walk to that bench. I'm going to just sit in nature, or walk to a nice viewpoint, or walk to a cafe. Walk to a cafe. That's a great thing to do. Walk for a cafe, have a nice coffee, and then walk back again. So again, I tell you what, let's do this as a little exercise. Just see if you can think of 5 things that for you are things that you can reach for on those days when you're feeling a bit like, actually a bit bored today, actually don't want to do it. So just write down 5 things. And again, if you're listening to this on the replay, then do the same thing. Write down 5 things that are going to inspire you a little bit to go for that walk. In fact, another thing that I often do, I'll just write it down before I tell you about it. How are we doing? Has anyone got a few things they'd like to share?
I've put.
Oh, sorry. That's okay. Oh, do you mind if I go first? Because I need to shoot off, actually. I just noticed the time. Sorry, I tried to hurry up. I won't be able time to do it all. Is that all right? Sorry.
Of course. Yep.
Thanks, Diane. So I just said, walk to a charity shop.
Yes.
I like charity shops.
Good one.
Try going somewhere new. I mean, you said about change route, but just go somewhere new that you've never been to before. I mean, it's all right to just drive somewhere, isn't it, to find somewhere that you've not been to before?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And then you get out and then you walk. And arrange to walk to meet someone, like meet someone in a certain place, and then arrange to walk to meet them.
That's a good idea.
I've just written 3 down. Anyway, I've got I love you and leave you. I'm sorry, but thank you.
Hilary, I'll put this recording on the school group tomorrow, so you can catch up. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. How about you, Linda? What did you come up with?
Oh, because the other day I drove to Beckenham Place Park for my walk.
Yeah.
And I met a friend there, and I walked all around the park, and then my intention was to go to they've got a lovely cafe there in the courtyard.
Yes.
So I went to the cafe there, and that just made the walk much more interesting.
Yes. I mean, Beckenham Place Park, for anyone who doesn't know it, it's the most beautiful park, and it does has absolute gorgeous cafe with the most amazing view. So what you've just described, Linda, is it's really like again, I would call that like a little micro break, like a little micro holiday. You really feel like you're in a different world when you're there, don't you? And it's
Yeah.
kind of like having a little treat, you know, sort of having your coffee and you're looking out over the gardens, and it feels really special, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great idea. Yeah. How about you, Mary? Any ideas?
I usually try and incorporate, if I've got something happening in the day, I'll incorporate the walk to get to it. So if I'm going to like the hairdressers, I can go, it's a 15-minute walk to the tube station and it takes me 5 minutes to get on the train, but I walk 40 minutes through the park and go that way. So I incorporate my walk into whatever I'm doing that day. So I get my walk done as part of my journey to get to meet the friend
Yes.
or have my appointment or something like that. I put the walk in front so that then you already started the walk to get there. So that's my incentive to then to do the walk. Because I know by the time I get there, you've already started. You're actually part, either you've got your 10,000 steps or you're still doing, but you're close to getting the 10,000 steps.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a great walk. And I think a great idea. And I think what you were saying about, you know, that you walk through the park, because often what we can do is incorporating that walking into somewhere where we're going. Sometimes the mistake can be you just take the route the bus would take, or you take the route the car would take, which is probably not going to be a particularly nice route because it probably goes along a main road. But if you can, you know, you either know another route or you can look at Google Maps and just see if there's a little route, even if it's just around back streets, but especially if it goes through a park, you know, you can often find a really nice, peaceful way to get to where you're going. So I think that's an absolutely brilliant idea. And it's definitely something we'll be looking at in future weeks because it's what I call my explorer walk. So yeah, you're doing it already. So the only other thing that I put down is one of the things that I sometimes do is I'll I'll go out deliberately to look for a photograph. So I'll be like, oh, okay, I want to find a really interesting photo of a tree, or I want to look for a really interesting photo of grass or whatever it is. So I go out and then I'm looking for something. And that instantly, for me, it instantly it makes it interesting. And also it makes it a very mindful walk because I'm really looking at my surroundings. So that, you know, we always have our phones with us. So it can be a really useful way to use your phone technology just to add a little bit of interest to your walk. And also over time, you'll amass, you know, the most beautiful photographs, which create a lovely record of your walks as well. So just another tip. Okie doke, let's move on to the next one. So this is the last one, which is score, which is making your progress visible. Now on the, and I can't remember what week it is actually. I think it's on the week 1 resources. There is a walk tracker if you want to download that and print that out. So that's one way that you can track, you know, just put a tick on every little circle that's there and just track the days that you're walking. Or you could just have a bit of paper on the fridge, or there's lots of ways. Or you could track it a photo a day. There's so many different ways to track your walk. I know in the cohort, what we've been doing is we've been sharing every day our steps. So again, that's just saying these are the steps I've done. It's not a competition. We haven't set a step goal at all. We're just saying these are the steps I've done as a way of tracking for ourselves, and also showing the group and sharing with the group, this is what I've done. And that's a great way of remaining accountable. So try and think of a way that is useful for you. If you're not in the cohort, you can still access that walk tracker. As I say, I'm pretty sure it's in week 1, but I'll put it on the main. I'll put it in the main chat community group as well, just so that you've got that. So try and track your walks because it's really easy to forget what we've done. And of course, using your phone, if you've got a phone and you've got, you know, the health app, whatever health app on your phone, it will calculate, it will show you your steps. And again, it's great just to track these so you're mindful that you are walking every day and how much you're walking every day. So yeah, so this, as it says there, the score is not about perfection. It's just evidence. And it's great to see that evidence. That is, yes, I walked today. Yes, I walked yesterday. Yes, I walked the day before. Yes, I've walked for 2 weeks running. It's great, you know, it's really motivating. So yeah, keeping a score. So that's pretty much the success system. And you can come back to this seminar, I was going to call it, come back to this presentation anytime you want. I'll put it on the week 3 class resources. And before we finish off, a couple of things. I just wanted to quickly talk about the metabolic boost walk, which is what we talked about yesterday. So this is under week 2 rewire. So we were talking about interval walk training, which in a nutshell is walking briskly for 3 minutes and then walking slowly for 3 minutes and then repeating that 5 times for half an hour. So it's something to work up to. I think I did do the full half hour a couple of days ago, and I would say I'm pretty fit, and it was quite a workout. It really is. It's quite a workout. But the reason why I just want to quickly bring it in here, and for anyone listening, a great way to start, I mean, as I say all the way through this program, don't push yourself beyond your fitness level because you might get injured. So the way to do this program is to go just up to your fitness level or just a bit below it, but do it every day. And by doing it every day, your fitness level will gradually, without you even knowing, will gradually increase. You know, your heart will get stronger, your muscles will build. But don't push it because you might get sore knees or you might get sore feet. You know, if your feet are not used to walking a lot, you might get sore feet because there's a million muscles, tendons, and little bones in your feet. And if they're not used to walking, you can strain them. So with the metabolic boost walk, the reason why we were looking at last week is because a lot of you had asked for things that were around kind of managing weight or losing weight, or you know, losing weight off our waists, and the metabolic boost walk is one of those techniques which really supports the reduction of fat, both kinds of fat, so subcutaneous fat, but also visceral fat, which is something that we tend to gather around our waists, particularly post-menopause, and it's is associated with very bad health outcomes for things like heart disease and stroke and diabetes. So we really want to work on that. So if anyone would like to try the metabolic boost walk, there's a lot of training on that under the week 2 resources. All I would say, start slow, start with 1 minute fast, 1 minute slow. If that's fine, do another one and do another one until you've done enough, and then, you know, just gradually build it up. So every week we just kind of look at what might be a challenge. And the reason why I was talking about the metabolic boost walk is the challenge. You don't have to accept this, but I thought it might be fun, would be to try and do 3 metabolic boost walks this week. So before next week's week 4 class. So that could be literally 1 3-minute fast, 1 3-minute slow. If that's enough for you, that's fine. If you want to try it twice, fine. 3 times, fine. But try and do it 3 times during the week. So on 3 of your walks. And what I'd like for those of you in the cohort who have the private WhatsApp group, what I'd love you to do if you want to accept this challenge is, as well as putting in your steps every day, if you could just put in, did my first metabolic boost walk. And then the second time you did it, did my second metabolic boost walk, did my third metabolic boost walk. So I want you to share it with us, partly so that we can see and we can celebrate you, but also so that you've then got that record. It's so easy to forget. Did I do a metabolic boost walk? Can't actually remember. Put it in the WhatsApp group. And if you're not in the cohort, then put it in the school group. And if you're not on the cohort and you'd like to record your daily steps, just do it in the school group. We all have access to that community. Just pop it in your school group. Take a photo or screenshot of your phone app or your wristwatch, whatever, however you record your steps, and just put it on the school group. Just say, this is what I did today. That's all you need to do. Unless you want to comment about it in any way, that would be great. So the more that we can record our wins, the better. The more we can share our wins, the better. And the more we can support each other, the easier it's going to be for all of us to get this habit going. So what I'd love you to do is we've been doing this from the beginning, a 20-minute walk in nature. So continue trying to do that 20-minute walk in nature as a sort of minimum. 3 metabolic boost walks, which might also be in your walk in nature. So as I said last week, we can, make them part of the same walk. Start small and build up, as I've already said. Share your daily steps in the WhatsApp group or in the school group if you're not in the cohort. Share when you've done a metabolic walk, either on the school group or on the cohort. And try and increase your steps by 1,000. Did anyone do that? I don't think we did. I don't think either of us, any of us managed that this week. It's not really, it's not a big deal. It's just everything that we're doing in this group is kind of like, it's a game, right? Nothing is a rule, apart from the rule to walk every day. That is the only rule. But everything is a game, and it's a game just to set these little targets just to help us to build up our everyday walking. That's all it is. So you never need to think, oh my goodness, I didn't increase my steps by 1,000 steps. It doesn't matter. It's just a game. And remember, next week's class, if you can add up your daily steps over the week, and again, either on the school group or on the WhatsApp group, just let us know what is your average step count for the week. So just add up all your steps, divide by 7, get your average step count. Okay, and that's just to give us a ballpark figure of where we're at. So just to remind ourselves about the community culture, about how we are going to do the best in this community, is to celebrate our wins. And I know for those of you in the cohort, you've been doing brilliantly. Everyone has been commenting on the WhatsApp group every single day, and it's been absolutely brilliant. But let's see if we can take this to the school group as well. Let's see if we can add everybody in so that everybody is in that challenge. And just put your wins on the school group as well. Ask for help. Okay, so whether you're in the cohort, obviously if you're in the cohort, you can ask for help. You have my direct number. You can ask me on WhatsApp or within the WhatsApp group. If you're in the community group, just pop your question in the school group. Doesn't matter what it is, any question, just pop it in there. I look at it every single day. I'll answer your question either with a message or with a video. So pop your questions in the school group. Do not compare, okay? This is really important. Everybody is at different stages, and it's not about winning a race at all. It's about walking every day, gradually increasing our fitness, gradually understanding what walking does for our nervous systems, and gradually allowing ourselves to build up more confidence, more joy, more energy, not only now, but also in the years to come. And for those of you who weren't on last week's recording, I will pop that on the school group ASAP, because that has all the science around the walking. So let's build together. We're definitely doing this as a team, and I'm just so I'm just so happy about the way everyone has been working together so far, supporting each other and commenting every single day and putting your steps up, sharing them every single day. It's been absolutely brilliant. The level of energy and the level of commitment has been absolutely fantastic. So well done. And everything I've just said doesn't apply to you if you're watching this on the replay. Don't forget, pop your steps on the school group or on the WhatsApp group if you're in the cohort. So just to round off, as I always do, in 90 days from now, those people on the cohort will come to an end. And I want you to be able to, well, it's up to you, isn't it? Are you going to be saying, this has marked the beginning of a new chapter in my life? Or are you going to be saying, I wish I had taken this more seriously? So this is where you come in. This is your choice. You know, we can have as many systems and as many tools and as much accountability as possible. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to us, right? So it comes down to, maybe you'd call it grit, to how prepared we are to fight through the obstacles that sometimes we just put up for ourselves. So I know, as I said, the energy in this group is really great. The positivity is amazing. We're already beginning to have results in terms of happiness, like Linda was sharing, which is, you know what, isn't that what we all want? You know, everything, so much of what we do in this world is about happiness, isn't it? And so much, you know, if you look at advertising, or, you know, buy this and feel happier, it's basically what the message is. But actually, we're finding happiness through walking, and that is a gift, an amazing gift. So thanks for sharing that at the top of the class, Linda. It's really, really powerful. So Mary, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 8:30.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to that. Looking forward to that one-to-one. And you've got your walk scheduled for the next 3 days. Fantastic. And Andrea, if you want to share your steps, or, you know, anything around walking on the school group, we'd love to see you joining in as well. That'd be absolutely lovely. And yeah, all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for coming to today's session. And thank you very much for everybody, just everybody's positivity and everyone's effort and everyone's work that they're putting in so far. It's been such a joy to work with you all. And I just feel this great positivity. And I know, you know, at the end of the 90 days, I just can't, well, gonna have to wait, but I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, the results that we're going to be seeing by 90 days. So bye, everybody. I will see you all next week. Have a great evening, and thanks so much for being here. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.